So here's your options bar. We're going to go to the top. Click on a little arrow and then clean brush. The preview changes to indicate transparency, meaning the brush has no paint. Drop down to number 8. Number 8 says use the eyedropper tool to sample the blue color from the blue paint tube. And then paint half of the next circle. Sample the yellow color from the yellow paint tube. And slowly paint over the blue with the wet brush. So that says wet. We have yellow. We're going to slowly paint over the blue. To mix the two colors. Fill the last circle with yellow and then paint red. So let's go ahead and use our eyedropper tool and select the yellow again. And we're going to use our paintbrush and fill this in with yellow. And then we're going to sample red. And then grab our paintbrush and paint over the top of this with red. Mix that in real good. Number 11 on page 238 says hide the circles layer. Hide the circles layer in the layers panel to remove the outlines on the paint palette. You've mixed paint colors on a digital palette. Choose File, Save As, and close your document. We'll save it in your H drive. Under Computer Graphics. And then I save mine here, but you need to go to your Book Tutorials folder. And then hit Save. Alright, so we're going to start with actually painting a photograph. So if you look on page 238, choose File, Open. And we need to go back over to the G drive. It says double click the 01 Landscape Start JPEG. Choose File, Save As. Go back over to your H drive. Go to your Computer Graphics folder. And you're going to save this as 01 Landscape Working. And leave the file type the way it is and hit Save. Hit OK. We're ready to move on. Open the brushes panel. Oh, we just want the regular brushes panel. So this is our brush settings. So we're going to go ahead and minimize this. And it looks like my brushes panel is already open. Let's drag down the corner so we can see a lot of what's going on here. You might have some small differences in your brushes panel than I do. I loaded a lot of extra brushes on mine. So open the brushes panel and then expand one of the brush preset groups to see how the brushes are organized. So if I go to my dry media brushes, I can click on here and I can see the actual brushes on here. Now you'll load brush presets that you'll use for this exercise. Loading brush presets is how you use brush presets that you've downloaded or purchased from another artist. So number 2 on page 240 says click the brushes panel menu and choose import brushes. We're going to go to import brushes. Many of you have already done this for our type tutorials. Navigate to the lesson 10 folder. And we have some landscape brushes. Nice. And click load. Okay, so we've loaded our CIB landscape brushes, and so we're going to scroll down to see where we can find that folder in our brushes panel. And usually whenever it loads something, it loads it at the very bottom, so we're going to click the little arrow to expand those brushes, and these are all of our new brushes. Page 240, at the bottom of page 240, it says number 1, it says select the mixer brush, and then, so let's get our mixer brush first. And then in the CIB landscape brushes group, in the brushes panel, select the round fan brush right here. You'll use this brush preset as the starting point for the brush presets you'll create. Change the following settings in the brush settings panel. So we need to go back to the brush settings panel. I'm going to minimize that for now and move that over here. And we're going to go over to our brush settings. For size, we need to put 36. For shape, round fan, we already have round fan selected. For bristles, 35%. For length, 32%. For thickness, 2%. For stiffness, 75%. Angle should be 0. The last one on here is angle. It says 0. Spacing, 2%, which yours probably already says 2%. Okay. And then let's minimize that so we can see our image. And then click the foreground color swatch in the tool panel. So here's your foreground color. We're going to go ahead and click that. Select a medium light blue color, and what they chose was for their setting for red they put 86 And this will come up with a blue once we put the settings. The green is 201 and blue is 252. So here's a nice blue color. Hit OK. In the options bar, choose dry. Now it's time to save the settings as a brush preset. Choose New Brush Preset from the Brush Settings panel menu. So now we have to go back to the Brush Settings panel and click over here and New Brush Preset. And we're left with a little dialog box after that. Name the brush Sky Brush. And select all of the options in the New Brush dialog box. So including the color and everything else, and hit OK. So we have a new brush right here. Brush setting. We're going to turn the page to page 242. Select the Sky Brush from the Brushes panel menu. From the Brushes panel. And paint over the sky, moving it close to the trees. Because you're using a dry brush, the paint isn't mixing with the colors beneath it. So we're going to paint this whole sky. Okay, this is a good stopping point, so I'm going to discontinue. This is our second video from lesson 10, and then I'll start a new video.